Buying a GMC engine in 2026 is a math problem, and most people are getting the math wrong. They're paying $40,000 for trucks with known lifter failures. They're spending $60,000 on diesels to tow a boat twice a year. They're choosing the most powerful engine in the lineup and losing money every single mile. 4 engines that'll drain your bank account, 1 engine that's the smartest purchase you can make this year. The answer surprised me, and it'll probably surprise you too. Let's start with the ones to walk away from. The first one looks like a deal, and that's exactly the problem. The 4.3-liter V6, any generation. You'll find these on Marketplace and Craigslist for $3,000 to $7,000. Cheapest way into a full-size Sierra. And if price is all you're looking at, it makes sense until you drive it. A full-size GMC truck weighs 4,800 to 5,500 pounds, depending on configuration. The 4.3 makes around 200 horsepower in its best version. That engine is working hard just to move the truck before you put anything in the bed or hook anything to the hitch. Merge onto a highway and you'll feel it straining. Run the air conditioning on a hot day and you'll feel it even more. And here's the part that makes no sense. The fuel economy on a 4.3 in a full-size truck is almost identical to the 5.3 V8. The V6 works so hard to move the same weight that it burns nearly the same fuel, but it does it with 150 fewer horsepower, worse throttle response, and significantly less towing capacity. The parts cost the same too. Same platform means same brakes, same suspension, same chassis components. The only thing cheaper is the purchase price, and even that advantage disappears when you try to sell it, because nobody is searching for a V6 Sierra. Resale value is essentially zero demand. You'll sit on it for months trying to find a buyer. At $6,000 or $7,000 for a V6, you're $1,000 or $2,000 away from a 5.3 V8 that does everything better. Same truck, more power, better resale, better fuel economy per horsepower. The V6 isn't a deal. It's a trap with a low price tag. Save the extra $2,000 and buy the V8. You'll thank yourself every time you merge, every time you tow, and every time you sell. But this next one is the opposite problem. Too much engine for too much money. The 6.2-liter V8, both generations. And I need to be careful here because the engine itself is excellent. That's what makes this one dangerous. The Gen 4 6.2, found in 2007 to 2014 Sierras and Yukons, makes 403 horsepower. The Gen 5, 2014 and up, makes 420. Both are smooth, powerful, refined V8s that sound incredible and pull hard. The problem isn't the engine. The problem is what it costs to own one in 2026. On the used market right now, a Gen 4 6.2 in a Denali or higher trim runs $18,000 to $30,000. A Gen 5, $30,000 to $48,000. These are trucks with 80 to 120,000 miles that require 93-octane fuel. That's $200 to $350 a year in premium fuel cost over regular, every year for the life of the truck. And the Gen 5 has dynamic fuel management, the system that deactivates cylinders in 17 different patterns. The same system with documented lifter failure rates that cost $3,000 to $5,000 to repair. You're paying $35,000 for a truck that has a known $4,000 repair waiting somewhere in its future. Now, I know what you're thinking. The power is worth it. And if you're buying a truck for the driving experience, maybe. But this video isn't about the best engine. It's about the smartest purchase. And at $35,000, you can buy a clean 5.3 with half the miles, zero lifter risk from DFM, and put the $15,000 you saved into maintenance that lasts a decade. The 6.2 is the best engine you shouldn't buy in 2026. Not because it's bad, because the math doesn't work. And if the 6.2's math doesn't work, wait until you see what diesel costs. The Duramax, post-2007, LMM, LML, L5P. The towing king, the engine that every truck guy thinks he needs. Let me be clear. If you tow 15,000 pounds regularly, if you're running a business that depends on heavy hauling, diesel makes sense. This section isn't for you. This section is for the 80% of buyers who want a diesel because it sounds cool, because it tows more on paper, and because they think it holds value better. Let me show you what that actually costs. An L5P Duramax, 2017 and newer, runs $42,000 to $62,000 on the used market right now for a used truck with miles on it. An LML, 2011 to 2016, runs $22,000 to $38,000. Even the LMM, 2007 to 2010, is $18,000 to $28,000. And every single one of these has emissions equipment that the pre-2007 diesels didn't. Diesel particulate filter, $2,000 to $4,000 when it fails. DEF system, injector, heater, pump, $1,500 to $3,500. EGR cooler and valve, $800 to $2,000. These aren't hypothetical costs. These are documented failure points on trucks with 100,000 miles or more. Here's the thing, if you're doing short trips under 20 minutes, the DPF never gets hot enough to complete a regeneration cycle. The soot builds up. The system forces a regen while you're driving. If you keep interrupting regens, the filter clogs and you're looking at a forced dealer visit or a replacement. Diesel trucks are designed to run long distances under load. Using one as a daily driver with short commutes is the most expensive way to get to work. Let me give you a real number. Take an LML at $30,000 with 100,000 miles. In the next 50,000 miles, budget for a DPF cleaning or replacement, $2,000 to $4,000. A DEF heater or injector, $800 to $1,500. An oil change interval that costs twice what gas trucks cost. Add it up and you're looking at $35,000 to $38,000 all in for a 150,000-mile truck. A gas 5.3 at the same mileage, $20,000 to $22,000 all in. The diesel costs you $15,000 more to reach the same odometer reading. If you can find a pre-emissions LBZ or LLY, that's a different conversation. But those are $25,000 to $40,000 now and climbing. The affordable diesels are all post-emissions, and post-emissions means post-expensive. You're paying a diesel premium to tow a boat twice a year. That's not a truck purchase, that's an ego purchase. But this last one, this is the one that bothers me the most, because it looks like the obvious smart choice. And it's not. The 5.3-liter Gen 5 with dynamic fuel management, 2019 and newer. The latest version of GM's most popular engine, the one that should be the best. And on paper it is. In reality, it's the most expensive 5.3 you can buy. DFM, dynamic fuel management, is the evolution of AFM. Instead of shutting down 4 cylinders, it can deactivate any combination of cylinders across 17 different patterns. The idea is maximum fuel efficiency at every throttle position. The execution is lifter failures at a rate that's become impossible to ignore. The lifters that control cylinder deactivation wear prematurely. When they collapse, they can damage the camshaft. The repair, new lifters, new cam, gaskets, labor, runs $3,000 to $5,500 on a truck with 50,000 to 80,000 miles. That's not high mileage, that's barely broken in. Here's why DFM fails more than AFM did. AFM deactivated the same 4 cylinders every time, cylinders 1, 6, 5, and 4. The system was binary, on or off. DFM cycles through 17 different deactivation patterns constantly, which means more lifters are cycling more often. Instead of 4 lifters doing the work, all 16 are activating and deactivating in different combinations. More moving parts under more stress equals more failure. It's not a defect, it's a design consequence. And because all 16 lifters are involved, when one fails, the diagnosis is more complex and the repair often means replacing all of them. That's why DFM lifter jobs run higher than AFM repairs. More parts, more labor, more time. On the used market right now, a 2019 to 2022 Sierra with the 5.3 DFM runs $28,000 to $42,000. For that money, you're getting a truck with 50,000 to 80,000 miles that has a documented failure pattern baked into the engine design. You're not buying a truck. You're buying a countdown timer to a $4,000 repair. And here's the comparison that should end the conversation. At $30,000 for a Gen 5 5.3 with 70,000 miles, you could buy the truck I'm about to tell you about. With half the miles, 0 DFM, a proven transmission, and $10,000 left over for maintenance that'll last you a decade. The most advanced 5.3 in history is also the most expensive to own. And that's not a coincidence. It's a warning. Those are the 4 engines to walk away from in 2026. A V6 that can't do the job, a 6.2 that costs too much to feed, a diesel that costs too much to fix, and a 5.3 that's too advanced for its own good. But there's one engine where everything lines up. Price, reliability, cost of ownership, and long-term value. And it's been sitting on the used market waiting for smart buyers to notice. Quick thing, if this is changing how you shop for a truck, hit subscribe. I break down what to buy, what to avoid, and what to keep every single week. So you make the smart call before you sign anything. The 2007 to 2013 Sierra 1500. Greenwich Mean Time 900 platform. 5.3-liter Gen 4. 6 L80 transmission. This is the only GMC engine worth buying in 2026, and the reason isn't horsepower, it isn't technology, it's math. A clean crew cab, four-wheel drive, with reasonable miles, you're looking at $12,000 to $16,000 right now. That's the price of a used Camry for a full-size V8 truck with a powertrain that routinely goes 300,000 miles. Let me walk you through the 5-year cost of ownership. Purchase price. Call it $14,000 for a clean example with 100,000 miles. Insurance on a 12-year-old truck, roughly $800 to $1,000 a year. Maintenance over 5 years, oil changes, brakes, tires, fluids, the occasional sensor, $3,000 to $5,000 total. That's your entire 5-year cost of ownership, $20,000 to $24,000 total, everything included. Now compare that to a 2020 Gen 5 5.3 at $35,000. 5 years of payments at 6%, you're at $41,000 before you add insurance at $1,800 a year, maintenance, and the potential $4,000 lifter job. Total 5-year cost, $55,000 to $60,000 for a truck that does the same job. The GMT 900 cost you $22,000 over 5 years. The Gen 5 cost you $58,000. Same engine family, same capability. $36,000 difference. Here's what makes this powertrain special. The 5.3 Gen 4 is an iron block LS, millions produced. Every failure point documented, every part available and cheap. The AFM system on these is simpler than DFM. It deactivates 4 cylinders, not 17 patterns, and it can be completely disabled with a $270 plug-in device. Once you disable AFM, the primary failure mode on this engine simply doesn't exist anymore. The 6L80 transmission replaced the 4L60E and brought a level of durability that made mechanics stop worrying about the gearbox. It shifts clean, it holds up under towing, and it doesn't have the shudder issues that plague the 8 and 10-speed units in newer trucks. Here's what to look for when you're shopping. 4-wheel drive, the market is stronger and resale is better. Crew cab, same reason, no rust, check the rocker panels, cab corners, and brake lines. Service records, even partial records tell you the previous owner cared. Walk away from heavy modifications. Lifted trucks with oversized tires have stressed components you can't see. Avoid single cab and 2-wheel drive unless you're getting a screaming deal. The market for those is small, which means selling them later is harder. And here's what you do the day you buy one. Full fluid service, engine oil, transmission fluid, transfer case, differentials, coolant, brake fluid. That's about $300 if you do it yourself, $500 at a shop. You're resetting the clock on every system in the truck. Then, install the AFM disabler, $270, plug it in, done. Those 2 things on day 1, under $800 total, eliminate the 2 biggest risks on this platform and set you up for 100,000 miles of predictable ownership. No other truck on the market lets you future-proof the entire drivetrain for under $1,000. Here's the ownership scenario that makes this real. 2 buyers in 2026. Buyer 1 puts $35,000 into a 2020 Sierra with the Gen 5 5.3, 60,000 miles. Looks great, feels modern. By year 3, the lifters go. That's $4,000. The transmission develops a shudder. The 10-speed's known issue. That's another $2,000 to $3,000. Total cost at 3 years, $45,000 and counting, with a truck that's now worth $22,000. Buyer 2 puts $14,000 into a 2013 Sierra with the Gen 4 5.3, 100,000 miles. Not as shiny, not as modern. They install an AFM disabler for $270. They do a full fluid service for $300. By year 3, they've spent maybe $2,000 on maintenance. Total cost at 3 years, $16,000, with a truck that's now worth $12,000. Net cost of ownership, $4,000 over 3 years. Buyer 1's net cost, $23,000 over 3 years. That's the difference between buying smart and buying new. And here's the trajectory that should make you move now. 5 years ago, clean GMT 900s were $6,000 to $10,000. Today, they're $12,000 to $16,000. In 5 years, they'll be what GMT 800s are now. $20,000 and climbing for the clean ones. You're not just buying a truck, you're buying into a market that's going up, not down. Mechanics buy these for themselves, not because they're exciting, because they know exactly what's coming. And nothing that's coming is expensive. That's the most valuable thing a truck can offer, predictability. And no engine on the market in 2026 offers more of it for less money. I made a whole video on why owners never sell these, and after making this one, I understand why even more. The only GMC engine worth buying in 2026 isn't the newest, the strongest, or the most advanced. It's the one where every dollar you spend works in your favor. And that's the 5.3 Gen 4 in a GMT 900. The best engine and the smartest purchase are two different things. In 2026, the smartest purchase is the one that's already proven everything it needs to prove. If you want to know which 5 trucks mechanics say never sell, watch this video right here. And if you want to make your GMC last past 300,000 miles, that one's right here. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.